Dave here with the PhenomSports update, coming at you to let you know how my meet went. To start off with, I went 4 for 9. Squat was awful. 10-pound PR and bench. Deadlift, I went 1 for 3. Got my opener, and then went for broke. But I'll talk more about those later in more detail. First, I'd like to say thank you to a few people. First, my girlfriend Danny for putting up with me when I was grumpy because I had a bad week of workouts, or the last couple weeks when I was consuming excessive amounts of egg whites and protein shakes, because that wound up being almost 70% of my calories, and I was not exactly the nicest smelling person to be around. I'd like to thank the crew, the weekend crew, and the guys during the week that were there when I was there at the Animal House, guys, and the ladies too, for spotting, giving me pointers, all the advice that they've been giving me, and just for being there to have a facility with the equipment I need to train the way I like to train. I'd like to thank my mentor, my coach Jeff, for programming out the last 5 months of training for me. My lack of success in my mind had nothing to do with the way he laid out my programming, but just my performance in general. I thought it was awesome. It challenged me. I did a lot of things I didn't like doing, which are the things that if I programmed for myself I wouldn't have done, but I think those were the difference makers in the end. I'd like to thank the team at C-Bus Lifting Co. for sponsoring and holding the meet on Saturday. A weird one I'm going to throw out there. I'd like to thank the USAPL, the IPF judges for giving their time to come judge a meet, and all the spotters as well, especially the guy that back spotted me on bench. You got me real fired up, so if you ever see this, thank you for that. You're pretty awesome. Now into my meet recap. Oh boy, this was a rough one. So obviously everyone knows the meet starts with the squat. Warm-ups, they went smooth. I just kind of jumped the shark a little bit with when I started my warm-ups. There were 3 flights of about 8 to 10 people in each flight. I was in the 3rd one. I started my warm-ups a little too early on my squat. I don't think it affected my squat at all. It's just sometimes just timing things out impacted it. So I opened at 3:30. It wasn't as smooth as I would have liked to have seen it be, but the plan was to go 3:30, 3:50, and then, see how that 3:50 went, and go for like 3:70, 3:65, get a PR. Even though 3:30 is a 10-pound meet PR, I have hit 3:65 in a house meet, which I don't count, and I've hit 3:65 in training before. So it was a little rough, so then I went to 3:50. I didn't get it. The first time I didn't get it. The second time I didn't get it. I don't know why. Sometimes you have those days. A couple things I'd like to say about the bar. The Ohio that we used, the Ohio Power Bar from Rogan, is an awesome bar. Great knurling. Not too whippy, not too stiff. I just couldn't get comfortable under the bar. My shoulders aren't wide enough to catch the outer edge of the knurling on my shoulders, and I didn't feel like I had the bar, the weight of the bar in the center of my back. Some of that is probably because all through training I used, I don't know if it was a Mastodon bar, but they're a Texas squat bar, but it's bigger around, and the center knurling is a little longer. So going forward, that's something I need to keep in mind, is I don't get to squat on that bar in a meet. So when I squat in the gym, I need to use a regular squat bar, not the Texas squat bar that guys who squat 700, 800, 900 pounds use. So that's something to keep in mind going forward. That might have had a little impact on how comfortable I felt underneath the bar when I unracked it. But you live, you learn. Going to bench. Kind of timed my warm-ups a little better, so what I started doing is I took like 4 or 5 warm-ups total, and the way I planned it is at the start of each attempt for the flight before me, and the first flight is I took a warm-up rep. Pretty simple, right? I was, near the top of my flight. I was one of the first 3 or 4 to lift in my flight, except for deadlift. So, all right, boom. They're getting ready to do first attempts. So I took an attempt. When they got the second, I took a second warm-up, and so on and so forth, just so that way it's kind of timed out with what my rest is going to be during the meet between my attempts. It worked out pretty well for me. My last warm-up on bench was bad. It had me feeling a little nervous. Came down, paused, went to press it, and my right arm just turned to jello out of nowhere. I finished the rep, but it was like one of these guys where I'm like, oh, which in the USAPL would have been a red light. But I went out, hit my first attempt real easy. Originally, I was going to go 110, 120, and then I realized you can do 2.5 kilo jumps. So yeah, now I talked about squat in pounds, I'm talking about bench in kilos. Weird. So I went 117 with my second attempt, which is like 259.8 or something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's pretty much 260. Got that pretty smooth, so I went to 120, which I think is 264 and some change. And I've hit 265 and 275 during the training cycle, but obviously things are different in a meet. I was probably 5 or 6 pounds lighter, and I had already taken 3 attempts on squat, 2 attempts on bench. That just changes things as opposed to just going in and benching. So 265, got it to my sticking point and couldn't get it past my sticking point. So last thing, deadlift. Hit my opener pretty easy. It was 200 kilos or 440-ish. I pulled, that's probably the easiest anything over 405 has felt in a very long time for me. Even during training, if you go watch some of my training videos, there's a couple times where 425 was a struggle. So got 440 pretty easy. Could have went the safe route to put up a bigger total. Went like 460, but I wanted 475, so I went to, I don't know what it is in kilos. I'd have to look it up. So I think it wound up, I think the actual number is like 474 and some change, or 472 and some change. I don't know. Stupid metric system. And I pulled, I got it to my second attempt, I got it to my sticking point, was going to try and grind it, and I knew the only way I was going to get it was to hitch it or ramp it. So I put it down to leave something in the tank, and just so I can go out and I can get it on my third attempt. Third attempt rolls around, feeling really confident, feeling really good. Get set up to the bar. I start my pull. I get it about 3/4, halfway up my shin, and something weird happened. Like my ribs, rolled over my belt somehow, and it hurt. So I just put the weight down, set it, and just called it a day. My ribs, I don't want to say they're sore or they feel kind of bruised if I move a certain way, if I sneeze, or push on them in the right spot, they hurt. I think I probably just bruised my ribs. I don't think anything's broken, nothing serious, but that's kind of the way things go. So that was probably the best 5 months of training I've put together since probably grad school. So I mean, kind of briefly have talked to my coach, not too much. The plan moving forward, that even coming into the meet the last 10, 15 days or so, I really like how I look with my clothes off. I've never shared pictures mostly because of my editing issues. I wouldn't know how to edit them into this video and show you what I look like at, let's see, I have pictures from 4 years ago when I think I was about $165 right before I got into professional baseball. Then I have pictures from 2015 when I was probably $180, and then I have pictures throughout this training cycle from all the way from like 185 down to what I looked like at about I think it was 169. I'd have to look at the dates. So the plan is moving forward from a nutrition standpoint is to, stay about 170 and build as much lean body mass and muscle at 170. Personally, if I go above 170, it's not because my body fat has ballooned. It's because I've started to put on that much muscle mass. That's my game plan. Haven't really talked it over with my coach. He's kind of on board with playing with my weight that way. Staying lean and putting on some lean body mass and staying at 163. So basically, as Jeff Lee would put it, the plan is to get monstrosities, as we would say it back in the day. As of my deadlift and my bench, I don't know if I want to change a thing. Maybe clean up a little bit of technique on my deadlift. I think my knees lock out a little too quick. I don't know if that's a big issue. I'll have some people I know look at it and get their feedback on my deadlift. Squat, I want to throw my squat in the garbage and start over. I don't know what the answer is, what the solution is. Just the things that are going through my mind is, stance width. Do I need to widen my stance or keep it where it is? If I keep it where it is, do I need to get it in a heeled shoe instead of chucks just to change bar path? And then the third thing is do I need to change my bar height? I'm kind of like, I don't want to say I'm low bar, but I'm not exactly high bar. I'm kind of in the middle, probably closer to lower than higher. And then, hand width is, but I think my hand width is going to be more dictated by my bar height. So don't know if I want to compete again this year. Kind of a little bit of a, yesterday was definitely a confidence killer. I was feeling really good, really confident in myself that I was going to, break an 1,100 pound total, but oh well. Live, learn. Pass on. Sorry. So that's the plan. If I compete, probably not until November. Thinking just work really, really hard the rest of this year. And look, maybe do a meet maybe February-ish, March-ish, and use that to, shoot for Raw Nationals of 2018. So work really, really hard to get where I need to be. Maybe throw in a house meet or two just for fun, just to see where I'm at. Hit, January, March, do a meet, and then see if I can put a qualifying total for Nationals together, and then not do another one in Nationals, and just see where it takes me, see where the adventure takes me. A lot of things can happen between now and then. I could change jobs. I could, get injured. I could get really sick. I don't know. Just things could happen, but, in a perfect world, between now and my next meet is just going to be hard work to get where I need to get where I need to be, to get where I want to go. So that's it. Might not see a video for me for a couple weeks because I'm going to lay low. Till next time, keep grinding, figure out what moves the needle for you.